Наша команда захватила точку. Цель захвачена. Нас попали. Приближается авиация противника. Отличный выстрел. Ситуация под контролем. Цель серьезно повреждена. Наша команда захватила точку. Приближается авиация противника. Приближается авиация противника.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to World of Warships Blitz with Terry. Today I am back from holiday, and I'm catching up with what's been going on while I was away. And we'll start with Russian battleships, because we do have the Blitz pass with the preview for the Tech Tree ships. So before you look at anything else, these are not premium ships, Tech Tree ships, right? It's a preview, you just get them earlier. If you don't buy the Blitz pass, you still get them whenever the Tech Tree comes out. And we'll actually start with the Pyotr Velikiy at tier 5, which I think just means Peter the Great. Now, this is one of those ships that I've been really struggling to find any information on. According to the information that Wargaming has in their wiki, and well, that I'm in-game here, this is a Project 707, which I haven't found any kind of reference to in the English literature. And it's a battle cruiser, or an armored cruiser, really. So from what I could find, the Russian Empire, well, they did have a fairly famous run-in with the Japanese in the Russo-Japanese War. And, well, they got their butts handed to them, really, by the Japanese, and they did the very famous crossing the T maneuver, where you're sailing past the front of the battleship, of the enemy battleship line, and you get all your broadside guns to bear, and the enemy does not, because, well, they only get their forward guns pointing at you. So the Russian Empire lost that one pretty comprehensively, and everybody was very shocked at A, the fact that the Japanese could pull that off, and B, they figured, oh, maybe we need to make ships that are mildly faster. So the British had battle cruisers, although initially with a different purpose. The Germans had them, and the Russians wanted some as well. And they did ask around the various shipbuildings and design bureaus, and this, I think, was meant to be a German design at the end, and she was supposed to be a fast armored cruiser for the Black Sea Fleet. Now, I don't think the ship's ever been built, because while there are some Russian battle cruisers that have been built, I haven't found anything about this one in particular. So, what do we have in game here? It does mention 1916 as a construction time, which doesn't quite coincide as well with what I've seen, but in either case, if anyone has any information, I really need some, or any recommendations on literature on Russian and Soviet naval projects, because I'm really struggling to find anything on these things. She is, and we're going to have to compare her a little bit to, let's compare her to the British and German ships, because these were probably the ones that she would have been built to face if this was for the Baltic. She is relatively sturdy. So we're looking at the armor protection as it's mentioned here. This is a pretty sturdy ship compared to, say, the König or the Iron Duke. And I mean, it's not quite It's almost Giulio Cesare levels, but not on the torpedo side. But she's relatively sturdy and has a decent amount of hit points. Now these ships are fully upgraded, so we can compare them. So she's just sitting right there with just over 35,000 hit points. This is a very long ship, and she is, compared to her length, not very wide. And this makes sense, because if these things were meant to be speedy ships and they were meant to loop around any battleship lines and cross the T, as you would say, then they have to be fast. And she's not particularly fast because of the engine power. At least that's what was stated in the little information that I could find about the early battlecruiser designs. But in game here, she seems to have an insane amount of engine power. I don't know how reliable that information is. Anyway, she has a very good ratio of ship length to width, which makes her very fast, but also makes her dreadfully maneuverable. This is a fully equipment setup, and she gets a max traverse speed of 4.8 degrees per second. I don't think there's anything that is that sluggish at tier 5. So if you have a very long ship, it goes quicker, but it doesn't turn very well. She does get over 26. I think she almost gets to 27 knots, which is pretty quick for tier 5 ships. Like if you compare that to the Germans or to the British, again, definitely quicker, but not quite as maneuverable as those. The guns are interesting. First of all, these are 356mm main guns, and we only get 8 of them in a super firing turret layout. So if we compare that, for example, to the Oktyabrskaya, which actually existed, we do have a design here which does not do the super fiery thing, but in return we get more guns. On the Piotr, we have these 356mm guns, and in 2 forward and 2 aft super firing turrets. They do have a very long reload on base. I think it was about 23 seconds or something. They do hit reasonably hard, and the HE is actually not completely terrible in terms of fire chances. So if you find yourself in a situation that you do think you need to set some fires, you can occasionally switch over to the HE, but I do tend to stick with the armor piercing, which is pretty reliable against anything except for the American tanks. So if you're faced with a Texas or something, then you probably don't. You're probably not going to, or in New Mexico, you're not going to do a great amount of damage with the armor piercing. But other than that, especially when it comes to things like punishing cruisers or extremely lightly armored battleships like French battleships, then these are pretty good. But you only get 8 of them. So even the Germans get 10 guns with a 19-second base reload. But yeah, she doesn't get that center turret that you get on other lines. In return, the turrets do have a very high traverse speed. So you don't actually need to worry about the turret traverse too much, because they do almost get to a 6 degrees per second. And given how slow the ship herself turns, you're not going to outturn your turrets very, very, very often. So you can somewhat compensate for this slow turning of the ship by actually getting your turrets to rotate. The secondaries are your standard off-the-shelf, single-mounted, side-mounted casemate secondary things. They're 130 mils, but they don't do much damage, and they have a relatively short range compared to, say, the excellent secondaries that you would get on a König, for example. So, not a secondary ship. She does get an absolutely dreadful AA. You only get large caliber AA, and you get 78 points of damage, which is pretty much nothing. So she cannot defend herself against planes. So I mean, the AA in around tier 5 isn't great to begin with, but at least other ships around this class have some of it. This ship does not. So you're just going to have to take it if there's a carrier who's going after you. Concealment, just standard stuff. So what do we have? We have a quick ship, which it doesn't turn very well. The gun handling is neat. I quite like the guns in terms of their precision. And we also get the precise aiming system. Now, given that this is a preview for the Soviet and Russian battleship line, we don't quite know yet what's coming. We could get something else going further. We could get radars. I don't know. or smoke screens or something. But we do start off with a precise aiming system, which gives us a little bit of a hint towards kind of what these ships might be like. And it's tier 5. We don't know. The line might look completely different going further, but we've got good armor, we've got good speed, we've got pretty poor maneuverability, but we've got precise guns which hit pretty hard. So, battle cruiser, I guess. It's an interesting combo. Usually you can forget about the secondaries, but you can reposition in the ship pretty neatly, which is good at tier 5 because you often have to do this. Equipment wise, I actually have the main battery mod 2 in here because again the guns take a very long time to reload, and while you do lose the occasional turret, it doesn't happen super frequently. So you don't need the secondary bad mod because the secondaries are garbage. You don't really need the turret reverse mod because the turrets already rotate pretty nicely. So reloaded was. I do have the propulsion mod in slot 2, and I have the steering mod in slot 3, although it doesn't make a huge amount of difference. We still, even with that setup, have a 12-second turn time on the steering. You could almost go back double steering if you wanted to. Makes it a little bit better. But yeah, or you could go for a speed setup and just make it a faster ship and play her at longer range. But I prefer to play this as a kind of breakthrough ship of sorts, and playing this thing at mid-range or close range, all kinds of ranges really, and exploiting openings. That's kind of where I'm seeing it. So like a fast German ship with more crappy secondaries. Something like the Hood is maybe a good example. I play her rather similar to how I would play the Hood at tier 7. Commander-wise, now again, we don't know yet what the British, what the Soviet-Russian battleship line is going to look like. So we don't know how to train our captains for this thing. So I've just put a level 5 captain in here. I've got the underwater protection and the torpedo alert. I do have the artillery maintenance and victorious charge, which makes all sense. I've got survivalist because we already at tier 5 have 3 precise aiming, which should be sufficient. I mean, if you really want a 4th one, you can go for the fire supremacy, but for what I just mentioned, like a breakthrough ship, given that she has a relatively decent armor, I found that additional hit points would not be a bad thing. Obviously, at some point you want the marksman skill and put probably the APCS down the road, but we don't know about anything about the rest of the line yet, so this is really not a decision we can make at this point. This is tier 5, so we can't put any camos in, well, not any historical camos, so I'm just going to go with a standard seaborne assault. And there we have it. Can I mention that this is a very pretty ship, I find. I really like the looks of this thing. Wish they had like a white maybe historical camo or something, that'd be neat. But I think this is a nice looking ship. Just if you ask my opinion on that stuff. None of these weird winglet turrets, and I like the double anchors in front. It all looks very, very snappy, and the straight bow. It's a pretty ship in my opinion. Yeah, we don't need to look at the battle honor squad yet because there's nothing specific. It's tier 5. You won't get any shipyard resources for this. But let's try this ship out. And we'll start out. We've got 2 battles for you today. We'll start out with Scorching Islands, and we're on base capture. Are we top tier? No, we're bottom tier actually. It's a tier 6 game, but I think there's only one tier 6 in the whole. Yeah, there's only one Fubuki on our team. So it's flat out tier 5, and it's a carrier battle. And let's get going. Scorching Islands. I like that map, as you might have known. So in a ship like this, I would run the flank. Against destroyers, she is not extremely capable. Like I said, the HE isn't terrible, but you only have 8 guns. So you do feel that she's not a British ship that can defend herself against destroyers easily, but you can still kite away and use the secondaries and stuff. Okay, so there's Fubuki. I will actually loop around and just see if I can take kind of the right flank and go around the island here. because that means I don't really have to, I don't get into crossfires, and we'll see what this flank has to offer. Usually there's somebody coming around between these islands over there, plus the carrier is going middle, and like I mentioned, the ship has pretty much no AA whatsoever. So let's see if we can, yeah, we're not air spotted yet, so they don't know we're coming. And our carrier is spotting, okay, there's one enemy destroyer, one enemy battleship's kind of going right flank, and then the other one is sitting there. So let's push the right flank, because we do have a Fubuki and something of a cruisery persuasion, which is behind the island, so I can't see what it is, with us, and that's a good combo. It's a Königsberg. Yep, I like Königsbergs. Okay. Fubu, are you pushing? Never mind, I'll do it then. Okay. What is that cruiser doing on our western? So how did that get there? You see that ship there on the bottom left corner of the map pretty much. How the hell did he get there that quickly? Must be a bug or something? I'm not sure. Anyway, there's the Mutski. It's running into an emerald. So hopefully the emerald can do something about that. But let's see if we can give him some fire support just from here. Nah, he's turning. Never mind, it's never going to hit. So, well, we've lost our first Königsberg. But there's a Britannia. And you remember what I said, what these guns can do to something like French battleships. Hello, Mr. Britannia. Let me introduce you to my Russian guns. And there you go. I'm actually over-penetrating the Britannia. But, yeah, nope, some torps. It must be Mutski torps from back there. But yeah, I'm doing... if I'm going in a straight line, I'm doing around 27 knots. So, oh, another shot out at the Britannia. And the Britannia is going to eat a hell of a lot of torpedoes and 2 citadels from me. So, yeah, this thing hurts. Pretty... against things like French battleships, she hurts. That Congo looks on the AFK side of things. So I'm going to let these other 2 finish off the Britannia after that nice torp run and start working on the Congo. Because it looks like we're losing our left flank. So our cap is going to go down by the looks of it. And we might need to cap and then see how we're trading. Because right now we're even on ships. Okay, so the Britannia is dead, the Congo is AFK, the carrier is somewhere here, and by the looks of it, everybody else is back at the home at the home cap. But again, we are in a reasonably quick ship, so we've already managed to get to the enemy cap, and now it is farming the Congo here and seeing what we can do against that thing. Now, I did mention that the guns are pretty good, but sometimes they also do struggle, especially against more armored targets. So I'm actually shoot at the bow, because the bow is capable of shooting back at me. And just kind of, yeah, you can't torp AFK ships. Don't try, it's not going to work. Did we miss the bow? I'm not sure if we missed the bow or if we got some hits in. But yeah, that definitely hurt. So, yeah, the bow has sunk the Königsberg. And we are down 1 ship, so we do need to clean up this Congo. It's not that I just want to farm points, I need to get him out of the capture circle, so I can actually start capping, because they are starting to cap us. So as much as I would like to delete the boat there, Fubu, can you please do this? Because you can't torpedo the Congo, so can you please delete the boat? Because we need the... Okay, I'll help you a bit. Come on, delete the boat, please. Okay. And I need to, I'll get working on the Congo, because you can't do anything about the Congo, but I can probably. So we do need to start capping, and since there's 2 of us in the capture circle, we're actually capping, but as soon as you're going out of the cap circle, that's got to be okay. Okay, Fubuki deletes the boat, that's the right thing, which means we're 1 ship ahead, but we're going to probably be losing our carrier back there as well, and then it's going to be 1 battleship, 1 destroyer versus 1 battleship, 1 destroyer, which means that once we delete the Congo, which is going to happen because he's AFK and we've got 2 minutes left, is going to mean that we're going to cap, the enemy's going to cap, and we're going to be ahead on points. So this should all work out nicely. Okay, in the meantime, we'll try and delete the Congo, which takes a little bit of time, because Congo is somewhat resistant to being deleted. But we've got enough health, and it's going to be meaning that that the enemy destroyer, which is, I don't know which one is left, but okay, I'm going to cap this because I don't necessarily trust the Fubu to stay in the capture circle, and there's still 1:50 left. So yeah, these are sort of things you can do you can do these kind of flanking breakthrough runs, like you would do in like a Hood. That's how I would play a Hood, or say a Gneisenau, in a very similar way. Okay, Fubo has left the capture circle. That's fine. I'm going to cap out. Don't worry about it. We're winning, you know. You don't have to go there. We can just sit here for a minute and then we've won because we're ahead on points. But it looks like Fubo does not want to stay behind. So after we've capped, I'm actually going to sail and support. Even if we're going to lose the Fubuki, and he's almost full health, he would have to get himself torpedoed. Even if we're going to lose the Fubuki, we should still be ahead on points because a battleship's val is worth more than a destroyer. So we should be okay. Yeah, I think we're okay. We're 70 points ahead. So even if we lose the Fubuki, we're still going to be winning on points. He has to kill us both, which is very unlikely. So right now I'm just kind of sailing back. But yeah, in a straight line, she almost does 27 knots, which for tier 5 again is reasonably quick. So you can get yourself into interesting positions where you can do something, which is something I always like. Combine that with the pretty reasonable armor. That means she can actually tank. And the relative lack of firepower isn't all that terrible anymore. Okay, he's probably going to go reverse. Some shots out. Could have used the precise aiming here because that dispersion is positively dreadful and I only got one hit in. But again, we don't need to kill this guy. We're winning on points, so that's all good. Yeah. I wasn't super convinced with the ship at first because of the somewhat meh-ish guns by the looks of it. Like 66,000 points of damage, but you have to keep in mind that I actually deleted an AFK Congo here. But yeah, she has some really nice properties. So yeah, well and if you're in a French battleship, stay away. But that's true for pretty much anything. If you're in a French battleship, especially the Bretagne, you get hurt. So let's do a second round where I can show you a little bit more when somebody actually shoots back at this ship. And here we are on straight in a top tier battle. We've got a Giulio Cesare on our team, and it's a carrier battle again. And what do we have in the enemy team? Kirov, Kuma, Mutski, Agincourt, New York, and Bogue. So like I said, against the American tanks, like New York and New Mexico, you will struggle a little bit. But against the Wyoming, we probably should be alright if we can get close enough. So straight, where are we going? We're going B-Cup, because again, we can do 27 knots. We are reasonably quick for a battleship in tier 5. And I've got the range to actually cover C-Cup from B, so I don't need to go there. Let's see what the team says. Yep, the Cesare agrees with me to go B. Well, he makes a suggestion. He doesn't know that I was thinking the same thing, so I'm just going to confirm this. And it looks like the Danae decides he wants to go C. Now, I'm not going to actually call out the Danae here to go to B-Cup as well, because in mid-tier you actually have to be a little bit careful with communications. Sometimes you trigger lemming trains by calling out things too much, and it will end up with everybody in B-Cup. But we have the dominating force around C, and there's a Kirov. Okay, let's see if I can do something about the Kirov. Against cruisers, these guns are pretty good. And again, look at the dispersion. This is a very nice dispersion. Unfortunately, I'm only getting over penetrations here. Otherwise, that Kirov would be down to half health already. So let's see what we can do against the Kirov. But both Cesare and myself are heading over to B-Cup. Okay, Kirov is probably going to go in reverse. Yep, looks like it. Okay, a couple more shots out. Be nice if the precise aiming was still there. More over penetrations. But I don't have anything else to shoot at right now. And there's the Wyoming. The carrier is down here as well. So we've got one more battleship because the destroyer is up north. But it looks like our team is not necessarily grabbing A-Cup, because one of our battleships is AFK by the looks of it. Oh, there's the Bogue. Has he pulled an ergo maneuver? And he forgotten to stop moving his ship forward. Alright then, let's just delete the Bogue quickly and make sure that this guy's gone. And that's the okay, so it's the New York, Wyoming, Kirov down here. The Danae is running away, and yeah, we're just gonna want to delete the Bogue quickly. And I do want to turn somewhat northish, because I'm currently the only thing that everybody has to shoot at down here. And yeah, the Danae is dead, Kirov takes him out, okay. Can you kill the Bogue? Thank you. Let's see if I can still do something about the Kirov. thinking about the Wyoming, but the Kirov is kind of... Unfortunately, he's not firing high explosive at me, but he's kind of annoying. And he's behind an island back there. Okay, let's put the island between myself and New York, because our team up in A Cup is not getting anything done. So we're currently just holding one of the cups. Okay, this is just Kirov stuff that's going to bounce off my armor. Pretty much, but the New York, I'm not so sure. Wyoming I should be alright with. So I'm just going to try and keep the island between myself and New York, tank a little bit, and see if I can do something about that Kirov. Pesky little bugger he is. Alright, moving forward. Okay, another shot out. Dodge some shells coming in. Okay, that's a nice citadel on the Kirov. But I think at this point I'm going to have to move, because we're not doing anything about A. Our cruiser doesn't seem to be able to do something about, or be wanting to do something about the destroyer. And I still haven't managed to kill the Kirov. So one parting shot, and then why am I not moving? Oh, the chaser is in the way. Could you not be sitting there, please? Excuse me? Move. I need to get through here, because you've got an Agincourt coming from the other direction. I think it's the Agincourt, because the other Wyoming and New York are over here. And these were the only 3 battleships. Okay, yeah, you're almost full health. You go tank. You play with these 2 for a little bit. They're not trying to cup, and I'm trying to do something about A Cup and the Agincourt, because our team, and yeah, he's got you in fire. I don't want to use my damage con yet for the gun turret, because it's an Agincourt, and there's a destroyer right there. But I think, yeah, he's firing armor piercing at me, so I should be safe. Okay, there's Mutsky, which means I need to slow down, get the secondaries on point. He takes a couple of shells from the battleship over there, so I can kill him with the secondaries. Okay, Mutsky dead. Agincourt is running away, which means I now need to deal with Wyoming, because my chaser is going to die. Yes. Okay, we're going to need to tank until the rest of my team has made it here, except for that AFK battleship, obviously. So, Wyoming, you're next. I think he's in the turn, so these are probably going to miss. Yeah. But look, you can turn the gun turrets around reasonably quickly in this ship. So I'm getting my rear turret swung around. And the chaser is going to be dead in a second, but I should be on the flank of the Wyoming, so I can unload into that thing, and he can't do much in return because he hasn't been paying attention. So now we're firing at the Wyoming, and there's still the New York to worry about. Now Wyoming's capping, obviously. The Agincourt is running away, so he's not a problem. Anyway, he was firing armor piercing. Yeah, he's still firing armor piercing when he's out of range at this point. So let's kill the Wyoming quickly, and then we can. We are head on points, but with that Wyoming out of the picture, there he goes. Okay, at this range, can get through the transverse bulkheads. Okay, there's the Kirov again. Now, I do need the capture circle back, because, well, it's still a minute, but I would like the cap back, and it doesn't look like the Kirov is coming around the island. So I'm going to turn. I've still got 22,000 hit points, so New York can probably not delete me. I'm reasonably sturdy. I'm just going to tank the New York here as much as I can, so we're not losing anything else, because the carrier and that light cruiser that was with us is coming. So, yep, that hurts, but I can take that. You guys can't. And just keep the fire of the New York on me. And then I do need to turn around, because if they kill 2 more ships, then we'll probably lose. But the Kirov is doing the right thing. He's firing at something else. But the New York is firmly focused on me, so I'm just showing tail and hightailing it out of there. Yeah, that's an Omaha. Yeah, that's an Omaha. You do not want to be this close to New York in your Omaha. It can do very nasty things, and the Kirov as well. Okay, am I gonna shake? Nah, Kirov is bowing. Never gonna hit him from here. Okay, another salvo out at New York, and not quite deleted him, but that did require some things. Some work. So yeah, positioning, tanking. You don't have the greatest set of guns in the world, but they are nice and precise when the precise aiming is on at range, and at close range they can hurt enemy battleships pretty nicely as well. So, or French things. So yeah, even with an AFK Congo and the Danae not getting very much done, well, the enemy carrier hasn't done very much either, because. Remember, kids, when you're moving your carrier forward, your carrier keeps moving forward. You have to tell it to stop doing that. Yeah, so it's a fun ship. I'm enjoying the ship. Probably because it lends itself to an aggressive play style, and it can take somewhat of a beating. And it has this, and I always prefer speed over other things. Exactly for that reason. So you can get yourself in interesting positions, and you can You can use her to that advantage. So, promising start, I'd say, for the Russian/Soviet battleship line. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thanks everybody, and I'll see you next time. Bye.